You mentioned it is the white elephant. It's the one thing I think the week after the past couple of years of the state championships we've all been talking about. What do you see as maybe an answer to the people who say, gosh, so many private schools are playing for a state championship. It seems like only in 5A, that's the only chance that a public school gets, and it has to be a massive public school. Places like Warren Central, Ben Davis, just 4,000 or 5,000 students. What do you see as maybe an answer to that, or do you think it's even broken?
Well, I tell you what, if I were king for a day, I am a single-class basketball fan. I know we're talking football, but I like the fact that you can go up against the big boys and try to knock them off. So I don't have a problem with the current system. I know there are various ways you could fix it. You could have the multiplier effect where, you know, you take 1.5 students with your enrollment and all that sort of thing. I know that some people feel that if you win X number of championships, you should move up in a class. There are various things that you could do. I have no problem with trying to knock off the parochial schools. I have no problem with my high school trying to win a sectional, and realistically, that's as far as they go. Growing up in Yorktown, I never in my wildest dreams thought, hey, we could get to Market Square Arena and play for a state basketball championship. My only focus was to beat Muncie Central in the sectional. If we could do that, heck of a year. Love it. If we could get to Newcastle in the regional, hey, everything's candy. It's awesome. And that's all I worried about. So I'm not so concerned about altering the system. You know, the public schools take pride in trying to knock lures off in the sectional. Maybe you don't win a state championship. So what? You know, if you're not #1 in the world, just because you climb as far as you can go doesn't mean that you're a failure. You know, if you're the managing editor of the Chicago Tribune but not the New York Times, are you really a failure? You know, if you're president of Germany but not president of the United States, are you really a failure? I don't think so. So set your goals to try to knock off lures and leave it at that. And if you don't win a state championship, so what? Not every kid gets a trophy. You know, get rid of that thought and that philosophy.
And I'll say this, I think the Bluffton basketball fans, when they knocked off lures in the state...
Are you going to tell those kids they're a failure because they didn't win a state championship?
Yeah, that was the biggest game I think we've had in a long time for Bluffton basketball, and congratulations to Kevin Lysing, but that was their goal in the season, is to beat Bishop Luers, and then everything after that's gravy.
Call John Burris at Southwood High School, see if he feels that team was a failure because they didn't win a state championship. All they did was upset a 2-time state champion. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of the multiplier because of the participation you get in private schools. They did it when I was in Arkansas. I had to go through all the legal hoops, and that took quite a while. But people are pretty happy about how that turned out, and it basically essentially moved all the private schools up a class, given their participation levels are so much higher than your typical public school. It turned out to be it evened the playing field, and you can argue that either way, but I thought it was a good thing. Bobby Cox is talking about, the IHSAA commissioner is talking about a proposal that he'll give in April that talks about if you win a sectional, you get 1 point. If you win a regional, you get a couple points to the point where you get 10 points, and then if you get 10 points, you got to move up the next year. To me, if you're a senior, that penalizes the people behind you because maybe you got a great senior class, and then now the juniors, because you won a state championship, have to play up a class when, you know, maybe they could have competed at a lower level, but they're, you know,
what
penalized
about
by
those
your
Bishop Luers sophomores when Jalen Smith graduates?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, it's not applicable. It really isn't. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that, because I'm not convinced something has to be done, but I don't think a point system like that is beneficial because it is. It's going to penalize the kids in the lower classes based on the success of the kids ahead of them in grades. So
sure, I'm voting for keep it the way it is. Set your goal. Try to knock off Jalen Smith and Luers. You know, and if you do it, hey, it's a thing that you'll remember when you're 83 years old and in a nursing home. You know, just try to be the best you can possibly be in life, and wherever that takes you is where you ended up. You know.
All right, that's kind of how I feel about it. I know a lot of people at home feel the same way, but many people are looking for answers, and hopefully maybe Bobby Cox and IHSAA will come up with something.
There's no answer in stopping Michael Rogers.
That's true. You know? If you can stop Jalen Smith, Michael Rogers, all those guys, tip of the cap to you, but you're going to have to do something else than just on the field, because those guys are pretty unstoppable, and we're going to see it again next year.
Yes, we are.
He's Tom Davis. I'm Glenn Marini. Join us next week where we put a wrap on the season, talk about our teams of the year, talk about our players of the year, talk about our coaches of the year. Should be good stuff as we enjoy talking about high school football and put the final bow on the season before the Christmas season next Monday. He's Tom, I'm Glenn. We'll see you then.